How we doing, everybody? Tim from Ski Rex Media, once again coming to you from the HQ, where I am spending my 2 weeks back in Vermont isolation, trying to have some fun. Just trying to have some fun with it. Trying to adhere to it and trying to have some fun with it. With that, we're going to talk again about COVID-19 ski season, because there is some good news and some bad news, and it kind of is a continuation of last week's episode where I was talking about the worry of a ski season, how it could close down. We're closing in on March. That's when it shut down last year. And now that I'm back in this one, I kind of don't want it to shut down even less than I wanted it to not shut down last year. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I didn't want it to shut down last year. I definitely don't want it to shut down this year. But there was some worry. I had some worry based mostly around, we saw reports of, people over parking, out in Colorado. I want to say, where was it? Wolf Creek or Keystone? I can't remember which. Look it up. No, I can't remember which. It was Wolf Creek, I believe. But people were parked on the road. DOT was about to ticket people, was about to tow people to get them out of the road, out of the way from the plows, just get them, because people were just parking a mile away and walking up. We've also heard about and seen pictures and videos of the long lines, either at the ticket booths or at the lifts, zero social distancing. There are also rumors out there that some mountains have oversold their capacities. Whether they are true or not, I don't know. That's between the mountain and any state investigator that happened to walk down there that day, or happened to go down there that day and say, hey, we heard you overextended your capacities. Let's see your receipts. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. Again, rumor. I'm not saying one way or the other. And now, this week, it was Schweitzer Mountain in Idaho. That is how you say that, right? Schweitzer Mountain in Idaho. Yes. They have canceled their evening skiing because of people not wearing masks. They had to keep tell people, pull up your mask, put on your mask, wear your mask correctly, that kind of thing. Cover mouth, cover nose. And they said, while basically, from what I've read, they said basically during the day it's not so bad, but you get that bunch of people at night who just aren't caring, and they're just either not wearing them or wearing them incorrectly or inappropriately, whichever is more accurate. And they have said they're going to suspend their night skiing until people learn to play the game. Met with mixed feelings, obviously. Some people think it's bullshit. Some people praise them for doing it. Again, I don't know what's right or what's wrong. We don't know. We're not going to know. I keep saying it for years down the line. We're not going to know exactly who was right and who was wrong for COVID-19. I mean, we could have. We absolutely could have. But we're past that point, and, who the hell knows what's actually right and wrong on any given day. We'll figure it out, though. We always do. I'm a very positive person. We'll figure it out. But, again, Schweitzer Mountain, they've said that they're, the most problems they had with it was during the night skiing, so they're canceling the night skiing. And it's not just the people wearing the mask, it's the people being dicks to staff when they say, hey, can you put on your mask? And the people basically, they didn't have any quotes, but it's probably a lot of, F words and B words and C words and D words and other words that come out towards the staff, and just straight people being dicks. And if you've ever worked in food service or hospitality in general, the resort industry, you know that people coming through can just be assholes, unappreciative, or just dicks. Just dicks. And they take out their day on you. They take out everything on you if you're working there, on someone who works there. And they're sick and tired of their Schweitzer Mountain's sick and tired of their employees taking that kind of heat, plus people not listening. And that's bad news. That's part of the bad news that we have, because the bad news, especially in today's media, including, even I'm getting drawn into it because I'm talking about it. The bad news always gets pushed to the forefront. You always see the worst of the worst. It sucks. But the mountain's firing back. Like I said, they're like, all right, you don't want to listen? We're going to take this away. And they're, it seems the people who run that mountain, who operate that mountain, are willing to go the distance. Like, I don't know if they are, and they didn't say it, but if you're willing to cut out night skiing, they might cut out afternoons and then the whole days. They might just shut down on their own. But because things like that are out in the public eye, now the state's going to be looking at like, all right, they're having trouble with it. They're openly admitting it. They're trying to handle it. But maybe we should see how other people are handling it. And then once they go down to see who's wearing masks, then they kind of see who's parking which way, how many tickets are being sold, what do the food service options look like? Are there really no people in the lodge? All these state guidelines. Now, you may agree with them, you may not. But the fact is that for these businesses to run, they have to run the way the state wants them to. And I'm just pointing arbitrarily north, which is really stupid for me since Montpelier is west of here. But just for hand gesture's sake, for those who don't watch the video version, I'm just pointing to express my point. It's almost like air quotes. It's a stupid thing for me to do. But anyway, the mountains have to follow these rules, and they set the rules of their own too. They don't want their employees sick. They don't want people to come there sick. They don't want to close. They want to be open and make money, and they're making some money now, of course, obviously, and that's other bad news. You read in places about how mountains are taking all these hits. No good news about what they're actually doing, which we're going to get to the good news here in a second. But I feel like if more stories come out about Schweitzer Mountain, who, arguably is doing the right thing by, pushing the idea that, look, let's just put them on, ski, and have a good time. Just wear the mask. Be away from people. Do it right, and then let's have a good time. It's really not any big deal, and no need to make a big deal, but people are making a big deal, so now they have to make a big deal back. And now the state's going to see that story. And it's already out there. Like, I'm not breaking any kind of news here. Like, this story's been out for days. At the time that I'm recording this, has already been days that they've canceled out, canceled their evening skiing, their twilight skiing, as they call it, because of mask issues. But now the state of Idaho sees it. Now, I don't know what their regulations are. I know what mine are. I know some of the surrounding states. Beyond that, I don't know anybody else's offhand. What I do know is that masks are pretty much, everybody's got a rule for masks. Everybody should wear one. Just don't, keep one on you. That's what I do. When if there were days I had to go out of the house, keep one on me. So I can assume that all establishments out there, whether they're ski resorts, restaurants, stores, whatever, the laundromat, gas stations, what have you, wear a mask, and people aren't doing it. And if they're not doing it in one place, they might not be doing it in another place, and people are going to see that, and it's going to make a bigger deal, and the state's just going to be like, all right, close it. And since Ski Rex Media, we talk about skiing, snowboarding, other snow sports, they're just going to shut the mountains down. Just shut them down again. They did it last year, they'll do it this year. That is the bad news. And if one state does it, the next state over might do it. Like, I think one of the counties in Colorado just had to cancel all dining. Was it outdoor dining, indoor dining? Oh man, I can't remember offhand. I wish I could, but it's because it just popped in there. I want to say it's Pitkin County, and I think they just canceled dining at these places. The resorts can stay open, but no indoor or indoor/outdoor dining. In any case, restaurants are shut, and it's the same thing, and they track numbers, they have the contact tracing, so they're trying to figure out where it is, where it's going, where it's come from, the COVID-19 and whatnot. But it's just part of the same thing. If there's a problem, and they're going to shut it down, because that's what we've been doing worldwide. If there's spikes, shut it down. If there's people, shut it down. If there's this, shut it down. That's what they've been doing. Again, better or worse. Not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying that's what's happening, or what could happen. And again, Schweitzer Mountain, we're cutting this because of masks. The state might say, well, people aren't wearing masks. Well, that's it. Axe it all. It could happen. Now, that would be bad news. And it all is bad news. And that sucks. But there is good news on the horizon, as we know. And this one I like. The good news side of this is what could offset that kind of thing. Maybe. Story comes out last couple days. Again, it's been a day or two since this story broke. Not a breaking news story. That, and this is a hometown story, home state story for me. I'm in Vermont. It's a Vermont story, but you could see at some point something similar in your own state. Who knows? It depends on how your state looks at it. But the state of Vermont has added for its, the vaccinations going in waves. The hospitals and nurses and doctors, they're getting it before pretty much anybody. And then EMS is getting it, and then so on down the line as the whichever officials or whoever is making these decisions make, however it's been decided, that's how it's going. And our state ski patrollers have been given the go-ahead to get it with the EMS workers. The state's considering them EMS, first responders, and a lot of them are. A lot of them are EMTs on skis, or, nurses on skis, or even doctors on skis. Ski patrol are real medical, they're not just dudes in jackets and chicks in jackets. They know their job. They are trained in life-saving technique, some more than others. Again, there's a difference between EMTs and nurses and doctors, and then difference in all of them as well. I don't know them because I'm not one. I was certified in CPR for a little while when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, but that was the last time. But local ski patrol here in Vermont is been pushed up the list. They're high on the list to get the vaccine. Now, some of them already have. In the same story from the Vermont Digger publication, it said that some of them, people have already. Local hospitals said we've already seen ski patrol come through because, again, a lot of them are EMTs. They work for ambulance and rescue companies already. Like, this is, ski patrolling is their side gig. Ski patrolling allows them to do their job of an EMT and get a pass to do it. Brilliant, I say. The cheapest way to ski is to work for the mountain. You may not have as much time, but you don't have to pay for those days you do get. And, emergency medical technicians and other EMS and first responder and other operators of the like, they're doing it too. Of course they are. Who wouldn't? Cheapest way to get a pass, and you get a full season's pass. So the ski patrollers are getting their vaccine. And some of them, again, in this article from Vermont Digger, it said that, they talked to hospitals and some have already gotten it, because they are firefighters, EMTs, police officers, whatever else they do, or other medical stuff they do on the, as another job, a second job. You know what I'm saying? They've already gotten it anyway. Now, in the article, it does say that one of the education unions here is a little pissed off about it. Say the state is putting economics before actual health, that teachers should be higher up that list because they have to deal with people too. Now, ski patrol, I agree. If we're going to give it and make sure that first responders are in the, if it was July, then no, that doesn't make any sense. But in January, it does make sense. These people are up there, well, except for the year-round people who are at actually, no, yeah, I take it back. I'm wrong. They should be, because some of them are there during bike season too. People crash on bikes too. They're not ski patrol as we see them, but it's the same department. It's the same name in the same department getting the same paycheck for the same job. So yeah, they should be. They should be with the first responder type people because they are medical technicians, whether they are all the time or just at the mountain. They are in close proximity to people who may have it. And again, it has been pointed out that through contact tracing, we have not had a single case tied to a mountain, even though mountain towns, Burke and West Dover specifically, have seen an increase in cases. Yet there has been none tied to either Burke or Mount Snow. Isn't that something? Isn't that weird? But anyway, the ski patrol, because they have to deal with people. As us going up there, we don't have to deal with ski patrol, typically. I mean, I've only been out 5 days this year so far, but I've been playing it safe, and I haven't had an accident, and I haven't needed their help. I haven't even needed to ask them for directions. I almost did at Pat's Peak, but I didn't. I left the guy alone. I was like, you know what? I'll figure it out. It's fine. And, I don't have to deal with them. Majority of the time, we don't have to deal with them. However, every day they're at work, they have to deal with us. They don't have a choice. And sometimes it's in close quarters. It's, and again, it's not just close quarters. It gets down to CPR and other life-saving techniques. Like, it's in their face. Like, if anybody's going to catch it, they're going to catch it. Like, that's just the way it is. Just like an ambulance worker, just like a police officer, just like a firefighter. All these people could be in some ugly shit, and right there, right in your face. I'm in your face. You know what I'm saying? Vin Diesel said it in Fast and the Furious. I'm in your face. Flat out. So I agree with it. The teachers, they say we should be high on the list too, because, we have to deal with people. I'm not ragging on teachers. I love education. I believe, education sometimes gets well, all right. This isn't an education thing. However, we do need educators. And I agree that kids should be getting back into school as soon as possible. Get them in there. Like, they need to be. Like, remote learning is a beautiful, wonderful thing. But from the kids I've seen, the kids I know, I don't know if it's being used well. Let's get them back in the classroom. And to do that, teachers also need to be vaccinated, as do the children. But they're not all back in the classroom yet, and they're not all there every day. So I get it. I hope they get it soon as well. But again, we're talking about life-saving. I personally believe that the teachers should probably be pushed up the list too, but the ski patrol is right where they should be with the rest of the emergency medical technicians. Does that make sense? I think it does. And other first responder and healthcare workers. Like, I believe that. I think, again, teachers, you should get moved up the list, absolutely. But the ski patrol should be there as well. It's not a case of economics. It's a case of, that's who's going to come in contact with it. The rest of us can stay home. We don't have to be out there. They have to be out there. Right. So there's good news. And then there's bad news. And like I said, we started with the bad news because it's good to get that out of the way. But the good news is, if, just like with the bad news, you hear those stories get out, and then it escalates and it spreads, and then the state comes in and says, well, if they're closing themselves, like cutting times by themselves without us even telling them, maybe we should go see. And then they might tell them. Also, on the other hand, if we push these good news stories, like ski patrollers are getting vaccinations, awesome. That means other ski patrols might get vaccinations. So at least we're trying not to spread it. And if employees can get it and other people can get it, which I know it's a slow rollout, I know that, but it's got to be manufactured, right? We got to make it. We got to send it out. They're doing what they can. They're trying to get it out there for everyone who wants it. And that's good news. Like, that could be one of the things that ends up saving the season. Like, think about Hunter Mountain, man. Hunter Mountain just recently, I think they had to close down a couple days because ski patrol, they had no ski patrol because they all had COVID-19 or something like that. Again, I saw that news story, and I don't know if that was all news story or rumor or a combination of the two. I want to believe it's all a good news story. I don't know. I haven't really. I'd like to go to New York State to ski this season. I don't know if I'm going to get to, because timing, that's the thing I found is the worst part about the isolation. I'm trying to do it. I have been asked, that people have said, I can't believe you're actually following it. I was like, well, I'm a hypocrite if I don't, because I'm pushing it, and I want to try, I just want to try and help. That's all I'm trying to do. It's the only way I can really help, is to say, I did it, and there you go. But at the same time, I planned badly. Now I'm not skiing for 2 weeks and didn't get any in before, but I can do a lot after, and I can stay in the state, and it's a whole thing. It really is just trying to work your timing around it. You know what I mean? If you can remote work and remote learn, then it helps to, time these things out a little bit better. But anyway, I blew the timing. That's the short version of that. But what I did doesn't matter. It's what everybody else is doing. And if Ski Patrol's getting the vaccine, then that means something must be going right and going well, because they are being recognized, at least here in Vermont, as actual medical technicians, first responder, emergency medical service, even though they are mountain specific while they're at the mountain. But again, these people also are EMTs. They work for ambulance companies. They work for rescue companies. They work at the hospitals. They are doctors. They're just doing it for the ski pass because they're cheap, and I love them for that. That is brilliant. That's how I always did my most skiing, is because I worked at a mountain and I had a season pass I can use anytime I wanted. It was beautiful, and For my last year at Mount Snow, I worked in the afternoon, so I could ski till 1:45, ski right into work, start work till 10, go home, go to sleep, boom, be back out on the mountain the next morning. It's a beautiful thing. Again, like I said, it's all about timing, my friends. And with that, I think we've run about our time for today. I've been talking for about 20 minutes and had some bad news for you. I had some good news for you. I hope it stays with the good news. I hope it stays positive. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the Ski Rex Media Podcast. I am Tim, of course. Please follow, subscribe where you can. YouTube, subscribe, IGTV video version, follow. And then it's all follows and subscribes, whether you use Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Buzzsprout, you name it, Pandora. All kinds of places to find the audio version of the podcast. Look down in the description on all episodes or go to skirexmedia.com and you can find out all kinds of information there too. And if you are listening in the car, do not do it until you get home, until a safe place. Don't use those phones while you're driving. That could get ugly, or it could get you a ticket if nothing else. I've had the ticket. It was $1.25 in New Jersey many years ago. I can only imagine what it is now. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please share it with your friends. Check out everything we have. skirexmedia.com, Patreon at Skirex Media, the podcast, the social media, all of it. Follow it. I'm doing changes, so stuff isn't coming out as quick or as often, but we got some changes, including I'm still working out getting the new guests. But in the next couple of weeks, we should have guests on the podcast again, and much in a I don't want to say a better way, but in a different way that I think will work a little bit better. Does that make sense? All right, everybody. Thank you. Enjoy your season. I'll be back out on the 20th because that's when my isolation will be done, and I have had no symptoms or anything, so I'm good to grow so far. Plus, like I said, ski mountains here in Vermont, and I think in New Hampshire, which is where I was, no contact tracing of COVID-19 to any of them. So that's good. We're doing something right. So there's some more good news. If you've been skiing, it's unlikely that you caught it there. So there you go. Tim from Ski Rex Media saying, have a good rest of your week. I'll see you on the 20th when I can get out. I don't know where I'm going to be. I'm going to try and get to Bolton, I think. It's not super far, and I haven't been there yet, so I'll probably go there next. #IndyPass. And I'll see you out there maybe. And again, for those, Brian K., I'm trying to work out the timing to get down to Mass. We'll do Berkshire East, and then the Pennsylvania contingent is doing what's right with their quarantining, and they want to head up to New Hampshire, and they've done it. One of them has already done it, who stayed inside for 2 weeks and then got out of the state. So it can work, and people can make it work, and it's awesome when you can, and then maybe you can meet up with people. I don't know. But again, vaccines are coming out and things are happening, and you never know what's happening next in this world. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes this world interesting, and that's why I love it so much. 2021, baby. Laughing at everything. I'll see you on the next one later, everybody.